Death by Cliché, Book 2 in An American in Paris Mysteries, written by Susan Kiernan-Lewis, narrated by Susan Kiernan-Lewis. Chapter 1. I have always enjoyed the smell of bookstores, even the big chain ones. There's something about the combination of mustiness and leather that seems to predominate in bookstores, especially the older ones. And this one, on Rue Fossé Saint-Jacques in the Latin Quarter, had been around for over 20 years. No real competition for the more famous one opposite Notre Dame on Boulevard Saint-Michel, but still esteemed in its own way. Shoulder-high bookshelves formed the two aisles that went from the front of the store to the back. A narrow and worn carpet runner wove in a wavering line down the center of the store. The gleaming hardwood floors were scuffed and dented from decades of use. A book display near the checkout counter featured hardback books that had been popular 10 years ago. The lingering scent of wood polish and perfume seemed to permeate the little store. Le Bookshop specialized in English-language books, so its clientele was largely comprised of expats from England and the United States. There was a bulletin board by the cash register with advertisements for French language classes, music lessons, and personalized walking or scooter tours of the city, although most people who shopped at the store had most likely toured the city a long time before. I picked up a leather-bound copy of The 5 Red Herrings by Dorothy Sayers. I'd read it years ago back in Atlanta, where I'm from. I think I was pregnant with Catherine when I first discovered it. Putting the book down, I turned to glance around the neatly arranged rows of shelving and tables piled high with stacks of books. Where would people in Paris put a private collection of books? I couldn't help but wonder. The apartment where I lived in the 8th arrondissement was small, perhaps not by typical Parisian standards, but compared to my condo back in Atlanta that I'd had to sell to avoid my husband's creditors last summer, it was dollhouse-sized. In the year since I moved to Paris, the smaller living space has been one of the main things I've struggled to get used to. Not that space is all that major an issue, really, when one lives alone. I lost my husband, Bob, not quite a year ago, so it's just me in my 2-bedroom, 700-square-foot apartment. Me and Izzy, my adorably precocious French bulldog, whom I was determined not to take when she was gifted to me, and without whom I cannot now imagine on what planet I could live.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?